Fox Sports Studio had a tense atmosphere as Skip Bayless initiated a heated GOAT debate. "Let's be honest," he said, turning to Shannon Sharpe. "No matter what LeBron does, he will never surpass Michael Jordan's legacy. What happens when a sports analyst comes face-to-face with the basketball star he's criticized throughout his career?" Bayless had been known for his criticism of LeBron James for years, but this time his words were sharper than ever. "Statistics, championships, performance under pressure. Jordan is superior in every category," he continued. Shannon Sharpe was about to object when he froze at the message coming through his earpiece. "Skip," said Sharpe, with an astonished expression, "LeBron James is watching us right now and wants to join the live broadcast." The confident expression on Bayless's face suddenly faded. What if LeBron refuted everything Skip had been saying for years with a single move? Are you ready for one of the most tense moments in sports television? Welcome to the Famous Stories channel. Whatever city you're watching from, please write it in the comments below. If you're curious about unknown and never-before-heard truths, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like our videos. Undisputed was one of the most popular debate shows in the sports world. Airing weekday mornings on Fox Sports 1, the program was known for the opposing viewpoints of its two main hosts on current sports topics. The heart of the program was former NFL player Shannon Sharpe and famous sports journalist Skip Bayless. The chemistry between the duo pushed the program to the top of the ratings. That morning, the program had begun as usual. After the opening music, quick visual transitions, and introduction of the hosts, Skip Bayless jumped into the first topic. "Today," said Skip, looking directly at the camera, "we're going to forever end one of the most tiresome debates in the sports world, the LeBron James versus Michael Jordan comparison." Shannon Sharpe sighed. "Are we really going there again, Skip?" "Yes, Shannon," said Skip, organizing his notes in front of him, "because people are still having this debate, and I'm tired of it. I don't understand why we're still discussing such a simple issue." Shannon smiled. "Maybe it's because you constantly elevate Jordan to the heavens while burying LeBron?" "No, Shannon," said Skip, his tone becoming serious. "It's because of objective facts. Today I have evidence and I'm going to end this debate." There was a moment of silence in the studio. Skip Bayless's criticisms of LeBron James were well known in the sports world, but this time his voice and posture were different, as if he was about to make a major announcement. "First," Skip began, showing the papers in his hand, "let's compare their careers. Michael Jordan, 6 NBA championships, 6 Finals MVPs, 5 season MVPs, scoring champion 10 times, 9-time All-Defensive Team, and most importantly, a 6-0 record in the finals. He never lost a final." Shannon tried to interject, but Skip raised his hand to stop him. "LeBron James 4 championships, 4 Finals MVPs, 4 season MVPs, scoring champion only once," Skip continued. "And what's his finals record? 4-6. He lost 6 finals, Shannon." "6." Shannon Sharpe shook his head. "Skip, this is a very simplistic view. LeBron went to more finals, he did it with weaker teams. Don't you remember those years when he carried Cleveland all by himself?" "Ah, there it is," said Skip, as if he'd caught a clue. "The usual excuse from LeBron's fans. He played with weaker teams. Let's accept that. But isn't the measure of greatness winning with your team?" Shannon opened his mouth to respond, but Skip continued.
"Jordan played with Pippen, yes, but LeBron also played with Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, Anthony Davis, and other All-Stars. And these were players he chose. Jordan had to play with the team the Bulls gave him."
Shannon finally managed to interject. "Skip, this is a completely misleading argument. LeBron went to the finals with 4 different teams, rebuilding each time. In his first Cleveland stint, he took a garbage team to the finals. In 2016, he came back from a 3-1 deficit against the Warriors to win the championship. These are major accomplishments." "Major accomplishments," said Skip, smiling. "Then let me ask you a question, Shannon. In which finals did LeBron lose a series that Jordan would never have lost? Do you remember the 2011 Dallas Mavericks series?" Shannon's face fell. The 2011 NBA Finals was LeBron James's first championship attempt with the Miami Heat, and it had been a major disappointment against the Dallas Mavericks. "That's not fair, Skip," said Shannon. "LeBron learned lessons from that series and became a champion the following year." "Not fair," said Skip, raising his voice. "Jordan never had such a collapse in his career. An average of 17.8 points, disappearing in fourth quarters. If it were Jordan, he would have won that series single-handedly." Shannon took a deep breath. This debate was heating up, and Skip's attitude toward LeBron was harsher than ever. "Skip, you need to understand," said Shannon. "LeBron isn't just a scorer, he's a complete team player. He's made over 10,000 assists in his career. Jordan has 5,600 assists. LeBron doesn't just score, he also involves his teammates in the game. Assists, said Skip, smiling sarcastically. So LeBron is a greater player because he can pass. Isn't the purpose of basketball to score and win, Shannon? And in the fourth quarters under pressure, who was better, Jordan or LeBron? Let's look at the statistics then, said Shannon, pulling out his own notes. In playoff fourth quarters, LeBron, Skip cut him off. Statistics can lie, Shannon. I saw it with my own eyes. Jordan would take the last shots and convert most of them into points. LeBron prefers to pass. Is this the behavior of a GOAT? Skip, basketball is a game played 5-on-5, Shannon countered. If two people are defending you and your teammate is open, passing is the right decision. Tension was increasing in the studio. Skip Bayless appeared more passionate than ever in the MJ-LeBron debate. Shannon Sharpe was doing his best to defend LeBron, but Skip's attacks were becoming increasingly harsh. Shannon, I want to end this debate forever today, said Skip, his tone becoming serious. LeBron James is a great basketball player, one of the best in history, but he can never and will never reach Michael Jordan's level. That's a very simplistic way of thinking, Skip, said Shannon. The era Jordan played in was different. The defensive rules were different. The teams were different. LeBron plays under more pressure in a more challenging league. A challenging league, said Skip, almost laughing. The 1980s and 90s were the toughest periods in the NBA. Detroit Bad Boys, New York Knicks, Utah Jazz, these were physical teams. They played tough defense against Jordan and he still beat them. Just then Shannon Sharpe heard a voice in his earpiece. The producer was saying something. Shannon's facial expression suddenly changed. First surprise, then a slight smile. Skip, said Shannon, interrupting the flow of the program. You're not going to believe this, but someone is watching our program right now and wants to respond to what you've been saying. Skip furrowed his brows. Who? Stephen A. Smith? Tell me the truth, is Magic Johnson calling? No, Skip, said Shannon with excitement in his voice. LeBron James is watching the program right now and wants to join the live broadcast. There was a moment of silence in the studio. The expression on Skip Bayless's face froze. First a look of disbelief, then a hint of panic. This must be a joke, said Skip, looking at the producer. Is LeBron really calling? The producer confirmed through the earpiece, and Shannon nodded. Yes, Skip. LeBron James is connecting right now and wants to talk to you. Skip Bayless tried to compose himself. He had been criticizing LeBron James for years, but he had never directly confronted him. Now on live television in front of millions of viewers, he was about to face the superstar he had criticized. Okay, said Skip, adjusting his tie. Let him connect. I stand behind what I've said. After a few seconds of technical preparation, LeBron James appeared on the large screen in the studio. He had connected from the Lakers' training facilities. He was wearing Lakers practice gear and had a serious expression on his face. Good morning, Skip. Good morning, Shannon, said LeBron, his voice echoing in the studio. Shannon smiled. Good morning, King. Thanks for joining our program. Skip Bayless forced a smile. LeBron, this is a surprise. Thank you for joining the program. LeBron nodded. I was preparing for morning practice while watching your program, Skip, and when I heard what you were saying, I thought it was time I stopped being silent. Skip Bayless's throat dried up. What exactly did you hear, LeBron? Everything, Skip, said LeBron, looking directly at the camera. Everything you said about Jordan and me. And today, live on air, I want to clarify some facts in a way that even a critic like you can understand. There was a tense atmosphere in the studio. Skip Bayless shifted slightly in his seat, while Shannon Sharpe excitedly watched this confrontation. First of all, Skip, LeBron began. Michael Jordan is one of the greatest players in basketball history. I acknowledge this and have always respected him. He was my idol. I wore number 23 because of him. Skip seemed relieved. That's right, LeBron. It's good that you acknowledge the truth. But, said LeBron, his tone becoming serious, I've had enough of people like you constantly comparing us, belittling every achievement of mine, and magnifying every mistake. Skip tried to interject, but LeBron raised his hand. I'm not finished, Skip, said LeBron determinedly. I've been watching your program for years. Every morning I wake up wondering what you're going to say about me. And now it's time for me to respond. Skip Bayless swallowed. Go ahead, LeBron, we're listening. First you talked about championships, said LeBron. Yes, Michael has 6 championships, I have 4. But evaluating championships by numbers alone means not understanding basketball. Skip wanted to object, but LeBron continued. In 1994 and 1995, Jordan was away from basketball. In those 2 years, the Bulls couldn't win championships. When he returned in 1995, they were eliminated by the Orlando Magic. If those years are taken into account, Jordan has 6 championships in his 8-year prime period. That's a great ratio, 75%. In my 19-year career I have 4 championships. But think, Skip, I went to the finals with 4 different teams and led each to a championship. The Cavaliers, the Heat, then the Cavaliers again, and now the Lakers. No one has ever accomplished this before. Shannon Sharpe nodded approvingly. He's telling the truth, Skip. And look at my finals appearances, LeBron continued. In 2007 I went to the finals against the Spurs at age 22, as the only star on the team. In 2015 when Kyrie and Love were injured, I extended the series to 6 games against the Warriors. Skip finally interjected, but Jordan never lost a final. LeBron, 6-0, you're 4-6. LeBron smiled slightly. You're not counting the years Jordan couldn't make it to the finals, Skip. In the early years of his career, he was eliminated by the Pistons. I, on the other hand, went to the finals 8 consecutive years in the Eastern Conference. Do you know how hard that is to do? We came back from a 3-1 deficit against the Warriors to win the championship, against a team that went 73-9, something never done before in NBA history. Did Jordan ever experience such a comeback? Skip Bayless's face was beginning to redden. He took a defensive position. But LeBron, your performance against the Dallas Mavericks in 2011, average of 17.8 points? Is that a GOAT performance? LeBron nodded, as if he had been expecting this criticism. 2011 was the biggest failure of my career. I've always acknowledged that. But think about it, Skip. You're focusing only on that series. What about against the Thunder in 2012? Against the Spurs in 2013? Against the 73-win Warriors in 2016? After 2011, I became a champion in 2012. Isn't that what a GOAT would do? Fall and rise stronger. Shannon interjected. LeBron, how do you measure individual greatness in team sports? Skip constantly talks about championships, but is that fair? Good question, Shannon, said LeBron. Basketball is a team sport played 5-on-5. I've always believed in the concept of team, not just scoring, but also involving teammates in the game. Skip impatiently cut in. But LeBron, those moments when you pass the ball to a teammate for the last shot in the final seconds, Jordan would never do that. He would want to take the last shot himself. LeBron really smiled this time. Skip, I thought you knew the ABCs of basketball. If 2 people are defending you and your teammate is open, passing is the right decision. Jordan would do the same, and he did. Let me remind you of a fact, LeBron continued. Bulls-Jazz series, Bulls leading 3, final seconds, score 86-85, Bulls ahead. Jordan has the ball, double team comes. What does he do? He passes to Steve Kerr, and Kerr makes the shot. Bulls become champions. Skip Bayless's face fell. He had forgotten this example or deliberately ignored it. That's LeBron cut him off. It's not different, Skip. It's the same basketball IQ, the same understanding of team play. But somehow when Jordan did it, it was smart, but when I do it, it's cowardice. There was silence in the studio. Shannon Sharpe had a wide smile on his face. Skip Bayless was shuffling his notepapers thinking about how to respond. What about defense, LeBron? Said Skip, moving to another topic. Jordan was on the all-defensive team 9 times. You've been on it 5 times. And your defense in recent years? Defense, said LeBron, raising his eyebrows. If you want to talk about defense, Skip, I have some videos. My defensive positions from the last 3 seasons. Would you like to see them? There's no need right now, said Skip, uncomfortably. But statistics don't lie, LeBron. No, they don't, said LeBron determinedly. So let's look at these statistics. I've made over 10,000 assists in my career. I've grabbed over 10,000 rebounds. I've scored over 35,000 points. I'm the only player in history to achieve this. Michael Jordan has 5,600 assists. What does this mean, Skip? Before Skip could answer, LeBron continued. Also, I had to play on different teams with different coaches in different systems. Jordan mostly played on the same team with the same coach, Phil Jackson, in the same triangle offense system. The changes I had to adapt to were much greater. Shannon nodded. That's a good point, LeBron. Skip finally offered a rebuttal. But LeBron, the era Jordan played in was much tougher. The defensive rules were different, there was more physical contact. LeBron smiled. Skip, I knew you were going to say that. Yes, there was more physical contact in that era. But think about it. Zone defense was forbidden back then. Now teams make much more complex defenses. The game is much more tactical and faster. Each era has its own challenges. Also, LeBron added, I've played in a pretty physical league too. Playoff series against the Detroit Pistons, struggles against the Celtics. These were very tough too, Skip. The dynamic in the studio was changing. Usually aggressive Skip Bayless was on the defensive. Shannon Sharpe was nodding his head in support of LeBron's arguments. "LeBron," said Skip, making one last move, "what about your performance in recent years? You're not playing defense anymore. You're constantly expecting fouls from the referees. You can't properly lead your team." LeBron took a deep breath. "Skip, I'm 39 years old and still one of the best players in the game. Last season I played with averages of 30 to doubt it. In my 21st season, Jordan retired in his 15th season. Kobe retired in his 20th season. I'm still playing and still at a high level. As for leadership," LeBron continued, "ask my teams, ask my coaches, ask my teammates. Why do you think so many players want to play with me? Because I make them better." Skip wanted to play one last card. "What about social activism, LeBron? You're constantly talking about political issues." Jordan, on the other hand, stayed away from politics, saying Republicans buy sneakers too. LeBron's face turned serious. "This isn't a basketball-related debate, Skip. But since you asked, I'm not just a basketball player, I'm a human being, a father, a community leader, and a role model. And I use my voice, my platform, to improve people's lives. I founded the I Promise School, provided college scholarships to thousands of children, advocated for voting rights. I'm not ashamed of these things, Skip. In fact, I'm proud of them." There was silence in the studio. Skip Bayless had run out of arguments. Shannon Sharpe was watching LeBron's speech admiringly. "Skip," said LeBron, his tone softening a bit, "you've been criticizing me for years, and that's your job. I understand that. But sometimes, remember that I'm also just a human being trying to play basketball." And finally LeBron added, "I want to say something about the GOAT debate." Everyone in the studio paid attention. What would LeBron James say about his own GOAT status? "The GOAT debate," said LeBron, "is entirely subjective. Everyone has their own favorite, and that's normal. Some say Jordan, some say me, some say Kareem, some say Kobe, Magic, Bird. This is what makes basketball rich. For me," he continued, "my goal was never to be the best. My goal was to get better every day I played and to advance basketball. And when my career is over, I hope people will say LeBron James changed the game." Skip Bayless seemed to be truly listening for the first time. Shannon Sharpe was nodding his head approvingly. "And let me also say this, Skip," said LeBron, finishing his words. "Despite your criticisms, I appreciate your contributions to sports media. If it weren't for people like you, maybe I wouldn't have worked so hard. So in a way, thank you for being part of my success." There was silence in the studio. Skip Bayless had a shocked expression on his face. Shannon Sharpe was smiling. "LeBron," said Skip, finally speaking, "thank you for joining the program. I'll think about what you've said." "Thank you, Skip," said LeBron. "And Shannon, thanks for your constant support, brother." Shannon nodded, "Always, King." Just as LeBron was about to end the connection, Skip Bayless found the courage to ask one last question. "LeBron, do you really see yourself as a better basketball player than Michael Jordan?" There was a moment of silence in the studio. All cameras focused on LeBron's face. Millions of viewers were curious about the answer to this question. LeBron smiled slightly and said, "Skip, ask any athlete this question, and they'll answer in their own favor. Without this confidence, it's impossible to play at the highest level. But how history will remember us, that's for the spectators, and time to decide. All I know is that I still have a lot more to give to basketball." With these words, LeBron ended the connection. There was a moment of silence in the studio, then Shannon Sharpe clapped his hands. "Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and like this video. What do you think about this topic? Please write in the comments below. See you in the next video.